Real Talks tonight. Thank you.
Eliana, it's Carolyn Johnson joining Annabelle now, and give us the update of exactly where we are right now. This is the 5 North?
Carolyn, that's correct.
I just left my fucking house, and then this happens. I just left my house. I barely got anywhere. I got too far away to turn around, though. So, I mean, I could turn around right now and start driving back, but I'd rather watch the chase. So, I installed... Prism Live is now allowing a dual stream. I only have one phone. Can anyone verify for me if...
to get past some of that slower traffic. So hopefully he just stops this.
Can you verify if I'm actually live on Twitch right now or on YouTube?
You can see that he's riding the right shoulder again because again he's starting to encounter that traffic.
Dude,
and he doesn't want to wait for it. So he's using any lane that he needs to continue trying to avoid the California Highway Patrol.
And how many
oh shit, apparently I am on YouTube. Look at all these people. Hey, what's up, guys?
You were showing us up. I see one quite close behind. There's a second one.
Yeah, so from my vantage point,
so I'm streaming from my phone right now because I left my house
it's usually at least 2 units
just moments ago
to
go get my hair cut.
Who's the one that's in charge of keeping tabs
I may
on
actually
the
try to
vehicle,
go back home.
and
Like
that
seriously, I
second
only got
unit is the one that will
64%
call out
batteries.
the
Might
streets.
not be good.
And so I'm actually listening to the police
Lady
scanner
Stiletto,
now,
what's
and at
up?
this point, it is
Sasha,
still that ground
Homer.
unit that is calling out the location of the suspect's vehicle. Oftentimes, the airship will take
That's what I
over
get
that
for leaving my house on my day
calling
off.
out the streets. But in this case, it does appear that that second unit that is behind this pursuit is the one that is notifying other officers over the scanner where this pursuit is heading. And right now, it is headed towards the New Hall Pass.
Now, okay, heavy. You're saying that traffic is starting to get a little heavier.
Is the Scentless
on the 5
Apprentice
freeway,
here?
And we are passing now the Mission Hills area, going towards.
They got some problems.
Santa Clarita, Valencia area now. Heading in that direction, and the image, unfortunately, the video is getting a little choppy there.
Yeah, we are definitely having some issues with our connection here.
94.
Hey, OP.
Okay.
Eliana, you're breaking up for us just a bit as we wait for
Eliana,
this shot to
save
stabilize.
us.
I think Annabelle, what's so terrifying
Save us.
for me to see here is how much movement this driver is doing, just crossing across lanes
Canadian
of traffic
lady,
with
welcome.
really no regard for other
Sadly, I
drivers
left
here.
my
So
home
many
just
close
like
calls. I mean, it's
10
difficult
minutes
to see,
ago.
but
I could
see
drive
just
back
how
home.
dangerous
I mean, if this
is,
chase
just sort of
lasted
weaving
long
a
enough, I
needle
kind of
between these
need to be
cars.
at
And,
home.
Eliana, I don't know if you can still hear us, but has there been any physical contact?
Well, and so while we get Eliana
Scentless,
back,
my stream is in shambles. Can you do the prediction for me?
Eliana was talking about him feeling desperate, right? And that's why he is weaving in and out of these vehicles. He has been driving on the right shoulder, on the left shoulder, was driving on the carpool
Free, what's
lane.
up?
We
Sushi,
see
what's
now
up? Baby
a
Des?
CHP directly behind this vehicle. And of course, I mean, with traffic being a little bit heavier, that could be helpful, I guess, to CHP officers to try to detain him, to slow him down
Canadian
a little bit
lady,
more.
I was listening to a podcast
course,
today and they
when
mentioned
they're this
that.
desperate, we've seen it oftentimes.
I was
that
like,
they
man,
just
that was a
don't
memorable
care, and
moment
they will
last
continue
night.
to use the shoulders to continue driving.
Yeah, and at a
Rick,
time
what's
when you
up?
think perhaps this driver's about to exit, he weaves back onto the road and.
Man, I'm
just
really
so
tempted
many
to drive home.
Close calls we're seeing
I'm
here,
in a
but this
fucking
CHP
church parking lot
SUV
right now.
in close pursuit behind him here. And it
This
looks
phone
like
ain't
we're
gonna
now in the
last all that
Sylmar
long.
area as this continues with really no letting down or slowing down of speed. Eliana, are you back with us?
Yeah, back with you guys here. We just had to take care of a quick housekeeping issue, but we're
what do you
continuing
guys
to follow
think? Drive
this
home,
vehicle,
drive,
what
not
I believe
drive
to be
home?
a Volkswagen sedan. It's a 4-door. But
Skip
at
the
this point,
haircut or no?
we're hearing from the CHP that it's just
How long
one
do you think this is
person
gonna
inside
go?
of the vehicle that is described as a man, and he's proceeding northbound here
Thanks, Scentless.
on the 5, about to head into the New Hall Pass,
I'm gonna
which
be
is where
home
the
in
5
like
and the 14 come together. So if he stays in the
probably
lane
less than
that he's
10
in right
minutes.
now, it's going to force him onto that northbound 5, which will take him into areas like
you
Santa
need a haircut?
Clarita,
That's debatable.
Stevenson Ranch, and eventually Valencia.
Like,
towards
yes,
the
but,
Six Flags
you know,
area. But if he moves over to the right, which
it's
is
not like
kind
the
of
end
what
of
it
the-
seems like he might
it's not
be
the end of the
doing,
world if I don't.
But if he were to to move over to the right, that would force him onto the 14 freeway.
And that would take
him into areas like Canyon Country and eventually Palmdale and Lancaster if he stays on that 14. But for now, in this lane, it would force him onto that northbound 5, so the Santa Clarita route. Again, this is what we believe to have been a pursuit that started on the 101 freeway in the west end of the San Fernando Valley about
the Church of Snooze. That's right.
25 minutes ago at this point.
It's actually called
it come out as a vehicle violation. I believe it was an unsafe lane change, and it was normally something that the CHP would pull you over and you get a ticket and away you go. But for some reason, this driver
man, I'm so tempted to drive home. I might just do it. I could be there
failure to yield.
fairly
obviously
fast.
Reckless driving now. He's obviously going beyond the 65-mile-an-hour posted limit as he proceeds at 90 miles an hour here on the northbound 5 freeway, now making his way into Santa Clarita.
Eliana, we've been commenting about a lot of these erratic lane changes, and we'll see if he does one here where, or I say he, but we don't know if this driver is male or female. But again, that was a very close call. Has there been any physical contact between this car and any others?
Incredibly, no. Even though he's been driving so recklessly and he leaves just inches between him and the other vehicles, at this point we don't believe that he's collided with any other cars. And just looking at the vehicle, I'm not seeing anything in the way of damage to the car itself. I believe that it's pretty much intact, and you can see that he's moving all the way to the right, possibly going to ride on that shoulder again, just because he was encountering a little bit of traffic. But I'm just going to peek up ahead, and I'm not seeing too much in the way of traffic. So it looks like this northbound 5 freeway is going to be pretty kind to him because the traffic is going to be generally light as he makes his way northbound on the 5 into Santa Clarita and Stevenson Ranch.
I know, we're all kind of freaking out right now as he's getting really close to some of these drivers. You know, these poor drivers, they are often caught in the middle of this. Innocent people who are just trying to get home, trying to get to work, trying to pick up their kids, especially at this hour. And here you have a pursuit going on. You don't know what is going to happen. And of course, so many people are, you know, don't even know what's going on. They just all of a sudden see this person driving recklessly around them. Jeez, look at that.
There was contact. Contact there, Eliana. And it looks like there's a disabled placard hanging from that rear view mirror.
I like that.
I'm so glad you noticed that, Carolyn, because I had just noticed that as well. It does look like he has a disabled placard hanging from the rear view mirror. At this point, unclear if that belongs to him or not. I mean, we don't believe that the vehicle is stolen, so we do believe that this is his rightful vehicle. So the CHP is able to run the plates and get the information of the registered owner, who is likely the person who is behind the wheel. But then that also gives them the address, so then officers are able to go to that registered address and knock on the door and ask if perhaps they lent the car to anyone. Because if they did, then that may help officers figure out who is driving and why it is that they're avoiding the authorities. Because again, we believe that this started off as a minor traffic violation that has now turned into reckless driving and failure to yield. And you noticed when he split between those two vehicles about a minute ago or so, you were mentioning, Carolyn, that perhaps he had damaged his vehicle in that exchange, and I believe he did. If you look at that rear wheel on the driver's side of the vehicle, it does look like there is now at least some damage to that rear bumper.
Yeah, definitely. What about officers in pursuit? Are there still some behind him? I know you're a bit tighter on the shot, but have they pulled back? Nope, they're still there.
Yeah.
Carolyn, so it does look like we do still have at least one vehicle from the CHP behind the car. And if I could let you go for just a moment, I need to talk to our assignment desk, and I'll be right back.
You know, this is a tricky thing, Annabelle, because, you know, as much as this driver can see them following, it's also a concern if there isn't an officer in pursuit, then how do these other drivers know that there is this danger ahead of them? Because you mentioned that these are just innocent folks trying to go about their business, and if he's just zipping along with, you know, no flashing lights to be heard, it puts more people potentially at risk. It's such a tough situation to manage.
Right, and I'm assuming there are a few other choppers right overhead, and so maybe they're seeing that. Some of these drivers are seeing that, but right, only having one CHP behind this vehicle, you don't often know what's going on, especially if you're one of these drivers who is near that area. And so, of course, this is there is a lot of concern at this point for those drivers who are driving right now. Again, we want to recap. There is a police pursuit. CHP is behind this one Volkswagen. It's a 4-door, and we believe it's a man. That's what we're being told. It's a man of male who's driving. Initially started because of a unsafe change lane. So that's a minor violation, apparently. Again, this is what we're hearing. Driving at high speeds, oftentimes around the 70 plus miles per hour. It started around the 101 and then went on to the 170 and now is on the 5 freeway, approaching the Valencia area, Santa Clarita area.
Yeah, this is, as we can see now, in kind of heading towards Santa Clarita. And big concerns here because this driver's been very erratic, driving at a high rate of speed. You can see now speeds of about 95 miles an hour, making some very erratic lane changes. We did see the driver squeeze between two vehicles, and we do now see damage to the left, or I should say, yes, the left rear of the car. We can see the damage here. And we certainly saw those vehicles that he kind of bumped into. There was definitely contact made. So we've got obviously the chopper overhead keeping an eye on this for us as well, but speed's not slowing down here as he makes his way through the Newhall Pass, now at about 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, again, so we don't know really what is going on here. We just know that one CHP vehicle, as far as we could see, is behind this one vehicle, again, wanted potentially for an unsafe change lane, did not stop, and that's why the pursuit started, is what we're hearing again. But again, this has been going on now for maybe 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes, less than that. But yeah, in 20 minutes or so, and of course we're following this. Eliana Moreno is on News Chopper 4, and we're trying to just figure out, what is going on this driver's mind, of course, and also paying attention to the other drivers who are, of course, caught in the middle of this pursuit.
The biggest challenge for officers at this point, and we do see one very close behind, lights flashing, obviously sirens blaring. We can see now two vehicles relatively close to this driver. So they are not backing off. I think in part because this driver is such a danger to others here on this freeway right now. But the challenge is that speeds are certainly way too high to do any type of pit maneuver. They wouldn't do it in this situation. So what options do they have as far as bringing this dangerous driver under control? That becomes a challenge.
Right, and at what point do they we've seen it too, where they decide to just back off a little bit more, right, to avoid this driver from going at those high speeds that we're currently seeing, touching that 100 mile per hour also.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be what they're doing now, because we do see those two vehicles, two CHP vehicles in relatively close pursuit here of this driver. And again, speeds still at an unsafe condition. Fortunately, though, a lot of times this is a very crowded part of the freeway, and it's not looking too bad. As things can go, at least there is some room for this driver to continue and without making some of these erratic changes. But just as I say,
I'll be going live on my
lane
computer
change coming up here, and obviously you have trucks going through the Newhall Pass at a much slower rate in the right-hand lanes, and this driver seems to be kind of, crossing between these two lanes, but fortunately not coming into contact with other drivers at this point.
Right, and like you said, we're seeing these truck drivers, right? And so we've seen how desperate this driver is getting at certain points, and my concern too is that he gets in front of a truck driver. That truck driver, has a harder time stopping, but could easily, flip over also, could really cause some serious damage as well if he were to get in front of one of these truck drivers and make him try to stop.
We are getting just a little bit more information, Annabelle, as to where this all began. It was on the northbound 101 near Sunset Boulevard, and that's when apparently there was this, what officers noted as perhaps an unsafe lane change that caused them to turn on their lights and attempt to pull this driver over, but that's when the chase was on, so to speak. A wider shot right now, and you can see it's really opened up here, at least vehicle-wise, how many vehicles are on the road right now, as far as him having more to go.
Right, and of course, Eliana Moreno is in News Chopper 4 following this pursuit. Again, like you mentioned, Carolyn, it started around the 101. It started on the 101 near Sunset, right? And this was because of an unsafe change lane. We've seen this driver go at high rates of speed. Of course, we are following this.
Yeah, we have a team of folks actually headed in that direction as well. So we will.
Okay,
of course,
I'm gonna
more information for you from the ground as well right now. Again, this route now along.
I'm about to stop the stream here. I'm going to go live right away.
Area.
Okay.
And so this is, as you pointed out, Annabelle, going on for about half an hour now that we've been over this pursuit and keeping close watch on what's happening here.
Right. Eliana Moreno is back with us. Eliana, what can you tell us now about this driver?
Back with you guys here, and this pursuit continues here on the northbound 5 freeway, now at Lake Hughes Road, entering Castaic. But let